Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Kalachalachi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, I got a little bit of a doozy for y'all today. I'm continuing my series where I watch the top 250 IMDB movies, and today we're talking about The Empire Strikes Back. I know, the second and best Star Wars movie in that original trilogy. So let's get into it. Really quick, before I get too far, I do want to discuss something. In my last video where I discussed A New Hope, I was very vague about a lot of reasons. So in my planning for this one, I came up with 5 specific criteria that I'm going to use to evaluate this movie, that I'm going to use to evaluate Return of the Jedi, and every subsequent movie on the IMDb poster, just for consistency's sake. The idea is I'm going to give them a score out of 50, and this will be how much I enjoyed the movie based on these 5 criteria, and this will enable me to rank the individual movies kind of outside what IMDb has them ranked as. So, the 5 specific criteria I'm using for the purposes of this video and every subsequent one are the momentum or pacing of the movie, the villain, the plot or conflict, the characters and their chemistry, the score of the movie, like the actual music being played in the background, and how meme-worthy or how prevalent the movie is outside of the movie itself. With that all out of the way, let's get into the video. So first we gotta talk pacing. This shit is schmoovin', and I'm talking about schmoovin'. For the entirety of its run, this movie moves at least jogging pace. For the entirety of this movie's 2-hour plus run, there's always something on screen. There's always something to look at, always something to think about. And because of that, this movie is entertaining. It's not boring. It doesn't lose my focus like A New Hope did. A New Hope was exposition. We're building a universe. We're building a blah 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 blah. We got a fucking exposition dump on you. This movie's like, I'm not gonna tell you, I'm just gonna show you. For context, I'm not really a big fan of movies, not in any capacity, just because of the time investment. And this movie is an egregious offender because it is over 2 hours. And 2 hours is a long ass time. I can do a lot with 2 hours. So the fact that you gotta like just sit in front of a screen and look at this for 2 hours is crazy. Most of the media I watch is like anywhere from like 10 to 20 minutes. I'm a very episodic kind of guy, you know? And even these episodes, I watch them at 1.5 to 2 times speed. So we're talking 10 to 13 minutes max. This is efficiency. When you're trying to watch One Piece and all its BS with over 1,000 episodes, efficiency, 1.5 speed minimum. I digress. I hate long stuff. But this movie, it's a treat. I enjoy it. I truly do. And it's because of that pacing. They don't sit around. They don't waste your time. They get into it. They tell their story. They get out of your face. And I like that. Based on everything we just discussed about the pacing, if I had to give it a score out of 10, we're going with a solid 10 out of 10. I couldn't put it into words earlier, but another word for pacing would be moving parts. This movie has a ton of moving parts. You have Luke fucking off and doing his own thing with Yoda on Dagobah, I think. Then you have Vader, hunting his friends across the galaxy. And then you got his friends who are just running from the boogeyman the entire movie. So, because there's just so much happening, it keeps my little ooga booga goblin brain kind of focused on the screen for the entirety of the movie's runtime. So, it all works out.
No, I am your father.
So now we gotta get into the villain of this story. The big bad, the boogeyman, Darth Vader. I have here in my notes, he's basically the boogeyman, but has a death grip on the entire galaxy. That sounds about accurate. But in all actuality, bro isn't even a Sith Lord anymore. Bro got demoted to bounty hunter in this movie. I will say this though. You can tell Darth Vader's cooled down a fuck ton since losing the high ground, because in this movie he's not messing around, he's just methodical. He's a man on a mission, bro. I say this because Darth Vader was just so fucking big-brained about this, right? He pulls up on Han and Leia, right? And he's using them as bait to get Luke, and then when Luke shows up, he's gonna cryo this dude and take him back to the Emperor. Like, it's all business here, bro is not fucking around. I also need to note that, like, out the gate, the movie's like, this guy's the definition of everything shitty in the galaxy, bro. He's it. He's trash. Kuzu. Peh. And he's only on screen for 14 minutes and 42 seconds. Bro has 10% of the screen time, but, like, his presence, you'd think he's there for much longer. Listen. I could go on. I could gush for hours, but we're all busy people here, so I'll keep it brief. 10 out of 10 villain. He's iconic. If you don't know him, you're lying.
Who's scruffy looking?
So now we gotta talk about the best part of the movie, the cast of characters. I feel like the characters bounce off each other well. It's mostly Riz Solo practicing his Riz for the entirety of the movie until they put a muzzle on him, but it's still enjoyable. There's a bit at the beginning of the movie where Luke gets himself in a little bit of a pickle, and he's gotta rely on his good buddy Han to get him out of said pickle,
Your tauntaun Now, freeze before you reach the first marker.
Then I'll see you in hell.
Another part of the movie that I really just loved and like died cackling whenever I first saw it was the part right before Han goes on ice.
I love you.
I know.
I honestly couldn't explain why I found it funny. All I know is like I died laughing for 5 minutes straight and had to rewind that shit just because I was laughing so hard. The TLDR here is the cast of characters interact in a way that seems genuine, that seems lively, and a step up from how they were in the last movie. And, you know, that's what we're going for. We're going for growth, we're going for continuity, and there's that sort of growth and continuity here. So, with that all out of the way, we gotta talk scoring. 10 out of 10, easy. The characters are genuine, they're lively, they're enjoyable to watch. What else can I say? We gotta talk music. Escuchamos, musicamos. That's not the correct conjugation, but sue me. It doesn't matter what music you like or listen to. You can listen to A$AP Rocky. You can be sick and twisted and listen to country music. Hell, you can listen to a 10-hour loop of Cupid. It doesn't matter. Because the music from Star Wars, the music from this movie, The Empire Strikes Back, is some of the most iconic music ever made. You don't have to know what Star Wars is to know what the Imperial March sounds like. This shit is in Fortnite, people. What else can I say? So prior to making this video, I rewatched the movie, right? I went through it one more time just so I could kind of finalize what I wanted to say and get a clear picture of blah 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 blah. And this time around, I really listened for the music, right? And it was fire. It was gas. It's not stuff I'd bump on Spotify. I wouldn't avidly go looking for this stuff, but you know, the band kid in me's gotta appreciate this stuff. Real recognizes real, or something like that. Alright, it's time for the score. And like IGN after Tears of the Kingdom dropped, 10 out of 10, baby. What can I say?
I'm doing smashing on plotting, yeah. I just made a quick 10 bills, yeah. Bitch, I just put up in a lamb. I just put up in that big boy tongue, I don't got no miser. I don't give a fuck what you heard.
Now I'm gonna make a very bold claim here. Follow with me, okay? Don't get lost in the sauce. Star Wars in movie form, right? You following? Star Wars in movie form is pretty nice. It's entertaining, right? But Star Wars in other mediums is even better. I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. We gotta talk Fortnite, people. The fact that Star Wars is big enough or culturally relevant enough to be in the game showcases the absolute chokehold it has over modern society. Quick sidebar, prior to actually knowing anything about Star Wars or seeing any of the films, the two things I knew about the franchise as a whole were that they had lightsabers and that Vader was Luke's father. This stuff is life-changing information. Like, if you told the wrong person this information in 1980, you might get mugged, you might get this shit kicked out of you, you know? By 2006, it's common knowledge. So, to me, that's just kind of like, damn, this stuff really was everywhere by the time I was around. It didn't make it any less enjoyable though. When I actually saw the scene unfold in the movie, it was still every bit enjoyable as it would have been back then, so I got no complaints. This shit is still dope. Now we gotta give it that score. I think you guys all know what it's gonna be. I think I know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a 10. This stuff is culturally iconic. This stuff is hip, as the young people say. Alright, so here we are at the end. Based on my metrics, the score out of 50 is, you guessed it, a 50 out of 50, 100% overall. This movie was pretty good, dare I say. I really love this movie. It might not mean much, but of all the movies I've seen on this IMDB poster, this movie takes the cake. It's by far the best. Now we gotta talk IMDB. We know Shawshank shit. That is a tongue twister. Shawshank sits. We know Shawshank sits at the top with 9.2 stars, and we know A New Hope hit about 8.6 stars. So I'm guessing The Empire Strikes Back is hitting somewhere around 8.7 to 8.8 stars. My final guess is 8.7 stars. Alright, now I gotta check my work. I said 8.7 stars, now I gotta see. Empire Strikes Back, IMDB. Lo and behold, 8.7 stars, people. Other than that, I don't have much else to add. This movie slaps. If you haven't seen it, get on it. I will say this though, this movie was the beginning of a rabbit hole of sorts. After I watched this one, I fell down the Star Wars rabbit hole, and I'm still down there. I don't think I'm climbing out anytime soon. That's about it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, share the video with a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.